because this world-famous venue, commissioned by royalty, here we're celebrating a man who's been honoured by royalty, knighted by royalty, and even spent his 90th birthday with royalty, taking tea in the royal box at Ascot with Their Majesties King Charles and Queen Camilla. How could you possibly top that? Well, I guess all of this comes pretty close, just a small gathering with a few of your closest friends. But what a party, and what a life. So Anwar, it is nearly 70 years since you first arrived in this country. 70 years since you made that difficult decision to leave your beloved village in Pakistan. And those early years cannot have been easy. So far from home, with such a distance between the dream of Britain and the reality of Britain. A country still recovering from war, where rationing had only just ended, and where, sadly, racism was real. When we think of that generation who answered the call for workers, when we think of them stepping off the boat or plane in their smart suits and hats, we tend to discuss and focus on how little they arrived with, the clothes they stood up in, the few pounds in their pocket, the pieces of paper with a relative's address scribbled on it. Well, tonight I want to focus on how much they brought with them, the values that drove them, that sustained them, the values with which they helped to rebuild this country, the values that Sir Anwar embodies. The first is enterprise. 2 decades passed between Sir Anwar's arrival in the UK and his founding of Bestway. There were lots of jobs in between, a variety of sectors, the pivot to retail we've heard about, the transition to wholesale, and then later, as we've just been hearing, market leadership, diversification, internationalization. Sir Anwar proves what most entrepreneurs know. There is no such thing as overnight success. Just night after night of hard work. Late shifts, early starts, long hours, grit and grind. As one of my predecessors as Prime Minister put it, I do not know anyone who has got to the top without hard work. That is the recipe. And she would know. That little girl, named Margaret Roberts, learned those values herself, working in her father's grocery store, living above the shop. They took her all the way from living above that shop to living above another shop, number 10 Downing Street. For Lady Thatcher, as she became, as for Sir Anwar, enterprise was highly prized and hard work was a way of life. Then, of course, there was another value you brought with you, one Mrs. Thatcher would recognise too: family. Together with your nephew, my fellow member of the House of Lords, Lord Chowdhury, you have created the paragon of the family-run firm. Now, anyone who's seen Succession knows that working with your relatives doesn't always turn out well, but you have shown how trust, respect, and shared purpose creates a solid basis for a great business. And frankly, if you're running a shop, there's no other option than for everyone to muck in. Teenagers become shelf stackers, anyone with a driving license becomes a delivery driver, those with the biggest brains become the bookkeepers, family elders become wise counsellors. Everyone plays their part, everyone has a role, and you get out what you put in. You learn that most valuable of lessons, that magic formula: effort plus effort equals reward. But ultimately, family members aren't just a willing workforce. They are the reason you do it. That very deep desire of humans to look after our own, to care for our families, to pass something on to future generations. It's not just about legacy, though your legacy is a great one. It's about what you leave behind, a better world than the one you found. But I think the most important value brought by Sir Anwar and his cohort was the belief in community. Wherever you go, the shop on the corner of the street is at the heart of the village, town, or estate. When you hear the bell ring, anyone could walk through the door. All life is there. And I think that sense of community is why convenience stores are thriving in Britain today. They're growing in number, despite the competition, despite the cost of living, despite all those many challenges. It's all about people. Because whatever happens in their lives or in the world, people still need to pop to the shop for a pint of milk, a paper, a packet of crisps, some human contact. The biggest criticism Mrs. Thatcher had for new housing estates was when they lacked a local shop, when town planners snuffed out any spark of local enterprise and made people too dependent on services provided just by the state. For her, commerce and community were inexorably linked, and for Sir Anwar too. Because it was when he really listened to his customers, when he opened up for longer hours, his business really took off. That sense of service is one of the secrets of your success. But there's another community you've served since you established Bestway, and that is the community of shopkeepers. This, for me, is the magic of what you've built. It's a big business, but it looks out for the small enterprise. There's something special about this. Yours is a business that isn't just entrepreneurial, it enables other entrepreneurs. Every small shop and store, run by families like yours, working round the clock like you, that is who you help. And you don't just give them a good price, you give them a profile, you give them a voice. Your status confers upon them a status of their own. You are the ambassador of shopkeepers, the chief of the corner shop cohort, the real king of convenience. And all that is before we even get to the Bestway Foundation that we've just been hearing about, and its extraordinary record in promoting healthcare and education, both here and in Pakistan. It will soon be 40 years old, an incredible monument to your belief in community and in giving back. Truly, those things we do for ourselves may die with us, but those we do for others will live forever. And when I look at your life, the values you've lived by, and I think of the difficulties we face as a nation today, it is so clear that we need more of what you brought and what you have lived your life by: enterprise, family, community. Sir, I'm proud to know you. I'm proud of my country too. Proud that this story could perhaps only happen here, the greatest multiracial, multi-religious democracy on earth. Only in Britain could someone go from being a bus conductor to a billionaire businessman purely through their own blood, toil, tears and sweat. That was Sir Anwar's way, the hard way, the long way, the best way. And I hope you have the best time tonight, and I wish you the happiest of birthdays. Thank you.